Hello, everyone. I am Diego Gonzalez, and this is Voices of the Industry, and here with,
Zara Bullock.
and we are going to explore her profession today. So, to kick things off, why don't you tell us about what you're currently working on?
So I'm currently working on a data strategy with my current role, um, developing um, data standardization across the organization and um, and having a an official policy where we can essentially establish across the different business units at the organization how to um, approach and approach data and how we engage with data across the various life cycles. Um, um, some other things I'm doing work related are um, studying for a project management certification, the PMP.
That's awesome.
Um, yes, and uh, I'm also working on the equity core team in a data capacity at my organization. So those are just some of the things I'm working on.
That's great. That's great. I mean, being able to understand data and translate the insights for it to actionable information for the users, it's very key, especially in big organizations. No, that's awesome. How do you first get into this line of work?
So I actually got into data related work after, um, well, I would say I had some data courses, some advanced data courses in undergrad, like calculus and Calc 1, Calc 2, and some other advanced math courses in undergrad. And so I knew I was good at it and I was very interested. And then when I went into my Master's of Public Health program for grad school, I really fell in love with the ability to utilize data to explain the different health experiences among those in the community and how interventions could be utilized to help those in the community and merging the data to explain all of that and also translate the impact of it. It was something I really wanted to use to empower health professionals in the work that I do.
Okay, no, that sounds great. I mean, it does allow basically being able to join the field was relatively with I know some professions require a specific degree for them,
Hmm.
but I have here that data basically, if you have a good understanding of mathematics,
Hmm.
statistics, and even better if you can understand either organizational development or the business world out there, it can really be helpful to be able to bring those insights to the light.
Yes, and I should add, so Um, my work prior to me graduating with my master's in public health wasn't really data focused.
Mhm.
Obviously, I worked with data, working in the hospital and working with health insurance and in a forward-facing, patient-facing position. But my data intensive work came post my graduating with my master's in public health, and I focused on epidemiology. So that was my entry point into really data specific roles, and I actually got a epidemiologist position at my local health department. Um, right at the height of the COVID pandemic in 2020. And so that was when my data heavy work began.
That's awesome. What skills do you think you were able to transfer from your previous job to today?
So I'm currently working as a quality and data coordinator with my state department for behavioral health. Um, I am the previous skills that I'm using now that um, help me in my current role. I would say are statistical analysis for sure. Um, really understanding, data bias, data limitations, um, it's a lot of basics in terms of just, um, data quality,
Of course.
um, things of that nature for sure help me today.
That sounds great. And what's a project or a moment that you feel really proud of, either now in this position or in the past or during your master's degree or at any point in your life?
Mm, something I'm really proud of. I mean, I have a couple of things I could pick, but I would say right now I'm most proud of well, one thing I'm most proud of, I would say is the work I did at the Lexington and Fayette County Health Department,
Hmm.
um, working as an epidemiologist and, you know, and using data in the multiple capacities I used it in that role. For example, providing data um, on COVID case counts, contact counts, and you know, COVID deaths and important data like that. That isn't necessarily uplifting in some cases, but was very helpful to be able to provide those insights into how um, the virus was in affecting the community, and kind of help provide some guidance in such a difficult time, I think is something I'm really proud of.
That's awesome. I know how important it can be to get to the real conclusions and the actual findings within data. Project I was working on last year, basically, I was evaluating health insurance access or like healthcare access
Uh-huh.
in one specific community, and it was like there were only like 1.7% uninsured citizens. However, when you keep
Wow.
segmenting it, you could find, let's say, non-US native and non-English speaker male citizens were actually in the double digits of being uninsured. So you have to be very
Wow.
specific to understand.
Yes.
Yeah, so like I love the kind of work that you do, how
Yes.
meaningful it can be, and the way that it can impact different parts. And then, what was one tough challenge that you had to face, and how do you overcome it
Um, one tough challenge.
in your professional life, transitioning jobs, obtaining a new skill?
Oh yeah, I would say really continue to think one challenge is always making sure I'm learning something new. And, in some cases, it's um, like there's so many different things out here. There are constant changes in the industry, and there's so many different aspects in which you can apply, like utilize data, but also analyze it and um, and interpret the data. And so I think just finding ways to can keep the skills that you have sharp,
Hmm.
and not losing like skills that I developed in my graduate school program, making sure I'm finding ways to continually challenge myself. I think is it's important, but and sometimes it's tough because you learn what you need to do for your job, and then it's like, well, um, maybe a new project comes along, or you end up moving on to a different role. And so it's important to make sure you have a well-rounded skill set and you're continually adding to that so that you're competitive in whatever capacity you work and at whatever organization, but also you are bringing your best insight and creative insight to the work you're doing.
That sounds great. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we cannot stay the same way that we are.
Yes,
Our organizations are evolving after every single day. Our
yes.
community is evolving. Their needs are evolving. We cannot remain the same.
Mhm.
That's a great insight. And do you have any advice on what young professionals, people that are just about to finish their degree, people who just finished last year, and they want to join this field, what do you think they should be doing? Either for people who study data science or data analytics, or for people who study another like another quantitative field. What would you suggest?
Honestly, I just say be open-minded to that first opportunity that you get right out of school, because even if it's something that is slightly different from what you thought you would be doing, it might not be the sexiest role or the first thing you thought you end up doing, but I'd say always be open-minded to um, that interesting role that you just never thought of, and um, always prioritize your relationships as well. Building your professional relationships, continue to grow and add to those because you never know who you're going to run into, and where your next job might come from. So, um, yeah, I leave them with
Oh,
that advice.
awesome. And what do you think helped you stand out when you were first interviewing for this position?
Mm, my passion for the work I do,
Hmm.
my work ethic, um, my ability to problem solve, and my um, maybe my personality as well, because I'm very much a people person. It's easy for me to have conversations with anyone, and I think being able to um, value the experience that someone across the table is bringing, whether it's different, the same or very different from yours, um, no matter how they look, and the differences they may bring. Everyone can bring something valuable to the table. Their voices worth hearing, um, and there's always something you can learn from anyone. So I think that ability to um, and willingness to collaborate and connect is something that probably stood out.
Of course, no, that sounds like amazing qualities. Of course, in today's market, it's not just about skill, it's about connecting with people, connecting with coworkers. At the end of the day, those are the people that you're going to have to encounter day after day. And yeah, I mean, having people
Right.
skills. I mean,
And
nobody
you have
has
to be
that.
able to have difficult conversations
Of
with
course.
your whether it's your boss or your coworker. you may have differences in opinion, and you have to be willing to hear those out and compromise
Of
and
course.
things of that nature. So it's always important to be a team player, and value the opinion across the table.
Definitely, definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time. To close out, do you have a message to our audience, or do you have anything exciting that is coming up that we should be watching for? A new book, some conferences, or anything that we could be waiting for from you?
Um, I have a book I'm working on, but I won't say, I'm not going to give a projected release date or anything like
Of
that.
course.
But I have some other things I'm working on as well. But um, I will say, as a closing message, that the power of data, having access to the data um, in whatever field you're in, and the ability to interpret and communicate valuable insights from that data. Those are skills that are becoming more and more realized and recognized in um, every industry today. And so I think anyone that is looking to get into any work related to data, and data analysis and whatever kind of data work, you're definitely going to be an asset to um, any organization that you become a part of. And maybe you end up running the organization. Who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe
definitely.
it's a company that you want to start. I think any company that puts data at the center, and is going to be, you know, you're making the right steps. And I think you're going to be an asset if you take that experience wherever you go.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, and to you, Sarah, and to our audience for joining us today. And everyone can have a great day.
Thank you.